Joe Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today, fresh from Hasbro Pulse, we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series, Cobra, Tele-Viper, and Cobra Flight Pod, or Trubble Bubble. Great art on the front. No real nods here. The geography might be a reference to something specific from Sunbow. But what's funny to me is that in this box art, they're suggesting, oh yes, it would be perfectly reasonable for you to get 6 of these. As a matter of fact, we encourage it. And look, I'm really susceptible to that kind of thing, so that's fine. I love this image of the Tele-Viper over here on the side. This is the current box art, or current box style rather, that I love. This nice dark blue sort of canvas looking pattern almost. With, I don't know, it just looks great. It's classy. It's an awesome box. And then on the side, we've got the, once again, the Tele-Viper art. And then on the back, the contents of the box. And let's just go ahead and open this thing up and take a look at it, because I am very, very excited to have such a uniquely Joe vehicle on the shelf. Well, I say on the shelf. It ain't going to be on the shelf. I'm going to be hanging this from the ceiling. Hanging these from the ceiling, because I did get 2 of them. It's more than just a motorcycle. Like this is G.I. Joe. Well, it's Cobra, but you know what I mean. This is a uniquely G.I. Joe vehicle. Something that is not just a, oh well, this could have been in Marvel Legends or whatever. Okay, so immediately we have a larger accessory locker than the one that I recently opened up and said was the largest accessory locker. So that's great. We're going to put that off to the side and take a look. Oh man, look, it's the perfect size. Look at it. It's great. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. Oh, notice the flap, this piece of cardboard, presumably to keep this from poking through the front of the box the way that Scrap Iron's drone did. Alright, let's see. Should I just snip all of it? I think I'm just going to snip all this rather than trying to untie potentially this many pieces of twine. Okay. Gosh, this is beautiful. And I'm the guy who has said on Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, since we started the show basically, that I never wanted vehicles in classified. And look, I didn't say I wasn't going to buy vehicles in classified. I just said I didn't want them, because I'm just going to set all this off to the side. I've got that great grayscale art in the back. I'm going to keep that. I've been keeping these until I decide I don't need to keep them. I never want... Oh, man. Of course, now you know what I've got to do that I didn't think about, because this just arrived today. And I was so excited to get to it, I didn't think about my normal comparison. So I need to grab a Trubble Bubble and a Tele-Viper so we can compare these things. Alright, I've got my originals, so I'm going to set that to the side for right now because some assembly is required. Here is, look at that sneer on that guy. As I've said over and over and over again, I do not look too terribly closely at anything that I just know that I'm going to buy. So this guy's portrait I had seen, but I hadn't closely investigated, because I want my close investigation to be when I've got this thing in hand. And just look at that mug. That is great. I love it. I don't... Look, a lot of times when I'm doing reviews, something I'll say over and over again. I don't care for this, but it's fine. And that's where I am with the black painted, very clearly. Oh, okay. Huh. That's kind of cool. Very clearly just bare arms and neck, but they painted them black so that they could offer the alternate heads, which I want. I really appreciate that they did that. I want more of that. But it just doesn't look great. It's fine, but it doesn't look great. And that's where I'm at. And yeah, they're skin tight, whatever, athletic garb, I guess, can look like this, but it's not. In general, the aesthetics of the line are for detailed fabrics. That's just something that they've established, and we don't have that here. And as a result, it just looks odd. It's not bad, but it's not my preference. So I hope that we do get, as we've talked about on the show, maybe we'll get a retro Tele-Viper that does have just painted skin and neck. But again, for the purposes of variety and for the purposes of just giving us, the alternate portraits from different races, good, let's do it. I would not have not done this. Man, I love this. I love the details that they're putting on this kind of stuff. They did the same kind of thing on the Eel and Torpedo, where they've got these tampos on these accessories just to give them more detail, to bring them to life more. I also appreciate, he does have the gloved hands. And then he's got the watch over here on this arm with the black face on it. Colors look really good. His hips, wiggle those hips around a little bit, because they were kind of moving in unison there when I was trying to stand him up. So just give the articulation a little, loosen it up. The knees and elbows don't quite match, but they're closer than a lot of recent releases have been. The elbows really are just a matter of being glossier than the surrounding plastic. The knees are very, very, very slightly different shade of blue, to the point where it's fine. The purple on the boots looks great. The black buckles. So, oh, that's interesting. Let's see. Okay, that was just a little bit stuck. I didn't think anything in the sculpt was going to limit that. It just needed to be loosened up. Which I would rather something need to be loosened up a little bit than arrive all loosey-goosey. Okay, so all the articulation seems pretty good on this guy. All the detail. I love this black going around here because they've retained the profile of the Tele-Viper helmet. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at... this is my slightly better Tele-Viper. This one's in pretty good shape. The other one I have has the tiniest little black dot on the end of his nose. Look at that. And look, the facial expression. Like they nailed it. Oh, I love that. The Cobra logo up on the shoulder. Obviously, they couldn't put it there on this one, but I feel like that was the original intent, was for it to be up on the shoulder. The purple vest. They've gone a little bit further with the vest, but it still has the quilting up here at the top, just with a little that black on it. Looks great. I would like the Cobra belt buckle to have been on this guy. That would have been a nice touch. The original, I don't need the purple cargo pockets, so I'm good with that. The original had little purple sneakers on. I'm good with the alteration there as well. Well, and the original just had completely bare arms, and I do prefer the addition of the gadgetry on the arms here, so that works well. So this is, again, this is what I want out of Classified. I want this kind of updating, this kind of, look at that. It is a Tele-Viper, clearly, but they've just kind of given it a more modern aesthetic. So there you go. belts drive me nuts. I think they are producing them in the best way that they possibly can, but the fact that they slip out of place so easily does bug me. Not enough to put glue on them or anything, but whatever. Okay, so there is our Tele-Viper. Looks good. I like it. Great Cobra Trooper. And now let's open up the foot locker. Oh, that's weird. So we've got presumably one bag for the Trubble Bubble, one bag for the Tele-Viper accessories. Got a little piece of legal paper. And flatten that box out. So now I've got an even, because the Valkyries had, I think, the largest box to date, but now Tele-Viper and Flight Pod have given us the biggest one. So let's see what we've got in here. Oh, okay. So it's not completely separate. Oh, look at this. This is so cool. Now, one of the things I remember doing with the original Trubble Bubble was taking that off, and clearly I made it up in my head, because we talked about this on the show. In my memory, this came off and you could use it as a jetpack for a figure. Well, my memory was completely wrong, because it doesn't work like that at all. And I don't know if maybe I just held it on there and flew them around. I don't know. But on this newer version, oh, it's got two pegs. And they're definitely not going to line up with that. But this looks great. And look at all that's tampoed. No stickers, which, as much as I love putting stickers on toys and assembling toys and everything, it is kind of nice on an item that's a little higher dollar to have everything already on there, nice and straight. And the tampos just look better than stickers. They just do. Man, this is great. The veins move, articulated just like the original. Oh, let's do a little... I keep forgetting to do this lately. It's not a huge deal because the measurement's on the back of the package. But he is about 6 1/4 inches tall and measuring up to 00 Snake Eyes. He's about the same height. All right. Now, let's see what else we've got here. There's the rest of the business. Always be very thorough with those little baggies. You don't want to throw anything away. So this is funny. Noel, my co-host for Audible Interlude, or one of my co-hosts, got his Trubble Bubbles yesterday, and he does not have a YouTube channel, nor does he care to. So he went ahead and just opened them and sent us a couple of pictures, and I'm just setting everything out here so we can take a look at it all. The first picture he sent was the little tiny air mine, which here is the air mine of the original, and here is the air mine of the new one. But I like this because now I do wonder how this is going to attach to the new flight pod. But this was always like, well, they just send it out like this and it blows up. Like it felt like there was less fun interaction for this one because it's so big. So I kind of appreciate this new smaller one that still has the removable panel that I can't seem to remove. Oh, it looks like I was close. Man, I don't want this thing to go. There we go. So there is all the interior mechanisms. Pretty cool. And again, great tampos all over this thing. Really nice. Get our little hatch back on there. That does have... Oh, man. Ow. I think I just pinched myself. Microscopically tiny verbiage on there. Let's see if we can bring our old pal, the magnifying glass, out and see. I don't think even with the magnifying glass and my glasses, I cannot read what this says. This has got a light. Oh, there we go. I had the light on. Highly explosive, handle with care, to remove, press up, press latch, and release. So there you go. You guys probably can't read that, but I barely could once I turned the light on this increasingly useful magnifying glass. As I pointed out, the first time I used this, like, once you decide you're going to start using a tool, you just find yourself using it all the time. Okay, so there is our air mine. Let's attach all of our flight pod elements. All right, so rather than push on anything that might potentially fracture or come apart in any way, I'm going to open that bubble top up, and I'm going to just press that in. It doesn't push in very far, but it is secure once you press it in there. I'm a little concerned about this getting loose. I kind of wish this joint ratcheted. Because I think over time that's going to loosen up. And I'm also noticing that these are not even, but they don't seem to really be articulate. Well, there we go. Maybe they are. Okay. This looks like the Nintendo robot's head. I can't remember what his name was right now. I never had one. A buddy of mine had him, and it was all but useless. Okay, so we've got the antenna. Probably should have kept the box up here, huh? So we've got our dog bones that plug in over here. So if you don't want the missiles on, you can just leave these off. But if you do want them, just plug those in on the sides. Now what I'm wondering though is, so you put the missiles on, but are those dog bones going to pull out every time you want to launch a missile? It seems the answer is yes. So I guess what I would recommend, if you are going to be playing with your, oh, look at that, ball jointed. Very nervous about plugging that in too. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so you just push directly down on it. And look at this. Still have my blast effects from the Valkyries. A little blast effect going on in there. Pretty neat. Although on this one you probably want something a little more explosive. So maybe put that one in. And then that. And that seems pretty appropriate for your flight pod. Man, that gun is long, which is fine. It's cool. I really like the ball joint here. That was a good decision. Gives a much larger range and play value. Okay, so anyway, back to the missiles. I guess what you're going to want to do if you are playing with this, you can't really do that. I was going to say pull it off like that, but the dog bone still comes out that way. I'm not wild about that mechanism. I kind of wish these were just permanent, because now you can't just launch these. Like, you have to go through this whole process of pulling that out and then launching them. And to be honest, I don't love that these are black. I would rather them be the same color, but I get it, because aesthetically, that, for figure photography or whatever, that looks more real, for lack of a better word. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to leave these in either way for display, so they're going to go like that. So our mine So where does this go now? There's a little hole that, oh my gosh. Whoa. You guys, look at that. Isn't that something? That is pretty cool. Oh, I like that. Okay. Or maybe, look, even just that one. That's pretty cool. Okay. So, where does our little mine go now? Is he just holding it in his lap until it's time to deploy? I don't know. All right, let's take a closer look at the interior of this thing. Since everything does fold down, look at all of the detail in there. I love this. All painted, no stickers. It's all Tampo, and just looks amazing. Crystal clear bubble. I still have not locked it into place. Every time I've pushed it down, I've let it just kind of sit there. But it does. Oh man, look at that. Okay, so wait. Man, that really doesn't want to lock in. That side does not want to snap in, and I'm not going to mess with it anymore. So how cool is it? We've got the beautiful crystal clear bubble. We've got the readout up at the top here, or the display, heads-up display, I guess. But then we've also got painted around the bottom. That's fantastic. Okay. So now let's get our guy in there. See how well this works. Because as we all know, sometimes the prototype stuff works really well, and then in reality, the toy itself maybe hasn't didn't translate through to production. But hopefully that will not be the case here. Everything will work well. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, not only does he fit in there nicely, but the harness is big enough so it's not a struggle to get him in there. You've got enough play to really just sort of get him in and button it up. Fantastic. And then you've got, because he's got the trigger fingers, you can do the fingers over the controls. Look at that. I realize that's not really how that works, but it's kind of cool that it goes in that way. And then close up your bubble, and look at that. That is awesome. Man, this is a beautiful, beautiful toy. Size-wise, it feels right to me. I don't... final prognosis here, I really don't like the removable dog bones at all, to the point where I might glue them on, even. That just seems... They even if they plugged in a little bit, like if they snapped into place, it would be better. But they're just kind of there, and you cannot launch those without removing the dog bone piece. So I'm not a fan of that. Otherwise, this is just a great, great translation. So now, let's get him back out of there and take a look at the remainder of the accessories for the figure. Look how easy it was to get him in and out of there. That is great toy engineering. I still don't know quite where this goes, and I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to let me know, and I appreciate that. Wouldn't it be cool if there's like a magnet underneath there that it just kind of stuck to? But I know for some reason American toy manufacturers are afraid of magnets. I don't know what the deal is with that. I feel like this should open. It doesn't, but I feel like this part feels like it should open, and this should sort of go in there. But there's not even any space for that. You can see. So I guess he just holds it in his lap and throws it whenever the time is right. There's probably some brilliant engineering to accommodate this that I'm completely missing right now. All right. And I'm okay with that. Let's take a look at our accessories. First of all, we have our alternate black portrait, which is, I believe, yes, it is an actual alternate portrait. It's not just painted differently. If you look, the sneer is different. So that's cool. And then we've got our traditional Tele-Viper backpack and microwave. So this is interesting. Well, first of all, here's the comparison. Looks great, great update. Backpack, I would call better because it has storage for the transmitter and it's got some paint on it, which is great. So in the comics, they literally hold this up to Cobra Commander's face and he gets messages, like there's a screen here. But as you can see, there's a hole there for a blast effect. So this is clearly meant to be a firearm of some sort in the world of classified. But here is my, that actually looks kind of cool. Here is my, well, if it would focus, come on, there we go. Here is my challenge to like Mark II Designs or any of the other clever 3D printer people out there. Make a little screen for us that plugs into this so it can be like the traditional Marvel Comics Tele-Viper accessory. And then finally, the flight helmet, which looks awesome. I don't know if I'm going to use it. It's really cool. I'm glad I've got it, but that original Tele-Viper look is so cool. I just want to stick with that, I think. So, and by the way, I am going to have one Tele-Viper in a flight pod. I am going to have the other one just geared up on the shelf until we do get that retro release that I really like. I have no reason to 100% believe that's coming, but I do. And then I'm going to put just one of my Cobra troopers or something in the other flight pod. Holds it perfectly, which is no surprise to anyone that has been paying attention to classified. Although I do wish the wrist went up and down because he's not angling this properly. You can see it kind of points down. But I think with a little elbow positioning, that can be accounted for. He just holds it weird. And I don't know, I'm sure, again, somebody in the comments can tell me. I don't know whose hand that is, but it might be an older one because I think most of the hands now do have the up-down hinge rather than the left-right. So yeah, I would prefer if this went the other way. But a couple of tiny, nitpicky quibbles aside, this is an awesome set. I'm thrilled that I got two of them. I am going to immediately open the other one up and get it set up. Both of them are going to hang from the ceiling. Both of them are probably getting the dog bones glued in, but another just really awesome release from Hasbro, from G.I. Joe Classified. This was, for me, one of the big exciting releases of the year, and it has delivered. I'm very, very happy. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about needless things, and until next time, Cobra.
Smash that like button if you like needless things.